Santiago caught a fish on his skiff. There is a boy named Manolin who came to learn to fish when he was only 5 years old. He learned fishing with Santiago for only 40 days. His boat was considered unlucky, being unable to catch a fish for many days. The young boy's parents insisted him to accompany other fishermen. The boy loved Santiago and didn't wish to leave him, but Santiago asked him to join a better and lucky boat. The boy still helps him with offshore work like handling cords, carrying the coiled line, etc. The boy adores him as he taught him how to fish. On the shore, the other fishermen either make fun of Santiago or look at him with pity in their eyes. The boy loves him and tries to cheer him up. He doesn't want him to work with an empty stomach. Manolin tries to cheer Santiago by reminding him of the time when they were fishing together, that the old man went 87 days without a fish, and then they caught big fish for 3 weeks. The poverty of the old man is quite visible as he has nothing in his hut other than a few old items. The old man talks about his past with the boy. The boy cares about the old man and is attached to him. He brings dinner that the terrace owner, Martin, sends for free, as he has many times before. During their dinner, they either talk about the luckier time during which they would catch the fish or about the American baseball plus the great Joe DiMaggio. The old man likes DiMaggio and wishes to take DiMaggio fishing with him. Alone in his hut at night, the old man dreams of beaches of Africa, where he had sailed ships a few years back and lions over there. His dead wife no longer comes in his dreams. Day 2 early in the morning Santiago wakes up and goes to Manolin's house to wake him up and pick him up at his house. They both drink coffee, which is all that Santiago will have all day, at an early morning spot that serves fishermen. The boy fetches sardines and 2 fresh tuna bait and helps the old man ease his skiff into the water. They wish each other good luck, and the old man rows away towards the deep waters of the Gulf Stream. Alone in his boat, in the dark of early morning, he hears the other fishermen leaving in their boats. The fishermen rarely speak to each other in their boats. Santiago decides to row over the wells where many fish congregate. As he rowed, he spotted the flying fish and birds. He considers the birds as friends. He has sympathy for the small, frail seabirds who have to cope with the ocean which provides them food, but can also be cruel to them. The old man rows effortlessly and reaches beyond the well. He had his baits ready at particular depths. He ties the albacores to the hooks to hide them from the fish. Santiago rows steadily to keep his baits in a straight line, unlike other fishermen. He spots a man-of-war bird circling nearby. He follows it thinking that it might lead him to a school of fish. He sees a school of dolphins chasing the flying fish. They are too fast for Santiago, but he hopes to catch a stray or a marlin tracking the school. He eats turtles and drinks fish liver oil to stay healthy. Around some time later, one of the lines begins to shake and Santiago catches a 10-pound albacore. He says aloud that the tuna would be a good bait. This prompts him to pay attention to his habit of talking aloud to himself, which he picked up when the boy left him. Suddenly Santiago notices a strong pull on his 100-fathom line. He is sure that the fish playing with the bait is of considerable size and prays that it will take the bait. Finally, the marlin takes the bait and pulls the boat with it. The old man gives a mighty pull, but marlin is stronger than the old man. Santiago wishes that he had Manolin with him to help him. 4 hours later the marlin continued to pull the old man out to sea. Santiago was thankful that the fish was continuing towards the surface and not moving downwards. Santiago loses sight of land altogether. He is confident that he will be able to find his way back by following the glowing lights of Havana. As the sun goes down, Santiago wishes Manolin could see his big catch and help him drag it out. He thinks that the marlin might be old like him, and it's also alone like him with no one to help. Santiago remembers an incident when Manolin and he caught a female marlin. Her male partner was with her during her struggle time and followed the boat when the female marlin was dragged into the boat. During the night, Santiago's other bait catches something, but he cuts it immediately to focus only on the marlin. Once Santiago cuts the other lines, the marlin makes a sudden dive, the line cuts Santiago's face. Santiago is determined to not give up and decides to fight until one of them dies. Day 3. As the sun rises, Santiago notices the marlin still pulling the skiff northeast. He prays that the fish jumps out and fills its air sacs, so that it cannot go deep. Santiago holds the line tight and pulls it just enough, so that the line does not break. The marlin jerked the line, leading to a cut on Santiago's left hand. Santiago washes his bleeding hand in the salt water. He then eats the previously caught tuna to gain his strength back. While eating, he develops a cramp in his left hand from taking the fish's resistance. While waiting for the cramp to heal, Santiago watches a flight of duck pass overhead. This makes him realize that a man can't be alone on the sea. Suddenly the marlin emerges from the water. Santiago sees that it is bigger than any he has ever seen. The fish is 2 feet longer than Santiago's boat. Its sword looks like a baseball bat. Santiago thinks that he would not let the marlin learn its own strength, otherwise it could easily destroy the boat. Santiago decides to add some bait on his other line to eat in case the struggle continues. He hopes to catch a flying fish, but it was a dolphin that got the bait. The cramp in his hand is eased out, and he plans to show Manolin that he can still catch a great fish like this. He thinks of the great DiMaggio, who played brilliantly despite the pain of bone spur in his heel. To boost his confidence, Santiago thinks of the arm wrestling match in Casablanca, which lasted a full day and night. He won the match and was known as the champion. Santiago notices a reduced pull from the marlin. He puts oars to increase the boat's drag and prepares himself for another night's struggle with the marlin. The stars come out and Santiago considers them as his friends, just like the marlin. He feels sorry for the marlin, but he is determined to kill it. He thinks that it would feed many people, but because of the fish's great dignity, no one shall deserve to eat the marlin. Day 4. Santiago wakes up to the marlin's pull as it leaps out of the water again and again. His right is severely injured with the marlin's jumps. The marlin begins to circle around the skiff. Santiago pulls it close to the boat inch by inch. As the marlin comes closer to the boat, Santiago takes out his harpoon. He draws all his strength and stabs the marlin with the harpoon. Santiago straps the marlin to the side of his skiff and heads home, thinking about the high price the fish will bring him at the market and how many people he will feed. Following the scent of the marlin's blood, a mako shark appears. The shark attacked the marlin and took a big bite. Santiago rams the harpoon in the shark's head, and the shark sinks along with the harpoon. Shark's bite pours more blood from the marlin into the water, and Santiago knows that it would attract more sharks. He lashes a knife to one of the oars to make a weapon. 2 hours later, a pair of shovel-nosed sharks arrive. As one of the sharks appears on the surface, Santiago kills it using the weapon. Santiago then turns the boat towards the other sharks who had been eating the marlin from underneath. It takes him a couple of hits to kill the other shark. These 2 sharks took about a quarter of the marlin. Santiago wishes that he had not killed the marlin. A lone shovel-nosed shark appears. Santiago manages to kill it, but also loses his weapon in the process. In the evening, 2 more sharks appear. Santiago fights them off with the club he used to kill baitfish. The sharks keep coming, and by nightfall the sharks have almost devoured the marlin's entire carcass, leaving a skeleton consisting mostly of its backbone, its tail, and its head. Santiago knows that he is destroyed and tells the sharks of how they have killed his dreams. Upon reaching the shore before dawn on the next day, Santiago struggles to his shack, carrying the heavy mast on his shoulder, leaving the fish head and the bones on the shore. Once home, he slumps onto his bed and falls into a deep sleep. Day 5. Worried about the old man, Manolin comes to Santiago's shack. His eyes are filled with tears upon seeing his friend's injured hands. He brings him newspapers and coffee. A group of fishermen gather around the boat and measure the marlin's skeleton at 18 feet. The fishermen, feeling guilty of laughing at Santiago, ask Manolin about his well-beings. When Santiago wakes up, he tells Manolin to give the head of the marlin to Pedrico and offers the spear to Manolin. Manolin promises to work with the old man again, regardless of what his parents say. That afternoon, a group of tourists at the Terrace Cafe mistake the great skeleton for that of a shark. Manolin watches over the old man as he sleeps and dreams of the lions. Notable quotes: "Every day is a new day. It is better to be lucky. But I would rather be exact. Then when luck comes you are ready." Most people were heartless about turtles because a turtle's heart will beat for hours after it has been cut up and butchered. But the old man thought, "I have such a heart too." Luck is a thing that comes in many forms, and who can recognize her? Why did they make birds so delicate and fine as those sea swallows when the ocean can be so cruel? Why do old men wake so early? Is it to have one longer day? I may not be as strong as I think, but I know many tricks, and I have resolution. Let him think that I am more man than I am, and I will be so. Do not think about sin, he thought. There are enough problems now without sin. Also, I have no understanding of it.